Welcome back to War and Peace 2 and then turn 9. It's been a pretty hectic turn, so we got a lot to report on. Try to make like a short overview of the turn first, in case you don't want to watch the whole detailed version. We got a lot of friendly losses infantry, 95,000. That's because of a lot of fighting on the map this turn. So we actually are losing troops overall on the map. I lost 500 tanks and nearly 600 airplanes. Artillery as well, we lost a lot in the fighting. The Axis is losing tanks. Right, so let's do the from north to south. At Tallinn we have air interdiction, so that my troops here are isolated. I wasn't very aware how this works in a player versus player environment. I think if you have 2 levels above, so 3 to 1, or actually 35 to 11 divided by 10 or something. But what I did last turn was set up a bunch of 100 plus MiG-3s, long range, and I was fighting over here. And let's suffice to say that in all these battles, a lot of them, 21, and I lost a lot of fighters, but I also managed to shoot out a handful of, a substantial amount of Junker U. Look at all these air battles. 88s, 8s. That I guess he reconfigured for. But in any case, I withdrew one of my 2 divisions in Tallinn because they're still isolated. So I'm not really good with this. I don't think I could have held it. Maybe I could have placed air units inside Tallinn before the siege started, so it was harder for him to isolate me with air. But since the German fighters are so much better than anything Russia can put up against them, I think it's kind of pointless to, in a way, try to defend Tallinn. You know, you can't ship out the production of the town. I guess I withhold certain victory points from the German tally, but we don't play really for victory points, but who wins the war. At least I do. Anyways, 1 division shipped out from there. And then around Leningrad, we have a lot of fighting, as you can see here. I fell back with my thin skirmish line, this orange army. Again, I'll repeat. Light green, green, orange, red is the level of command skill. So the worse the color, red is the best leader. So anyway, this is the worst thing that happened this turn, and I think maybe in the entire game so far. First off, in this level 3 fort that I've been building with a fort unit, so that when he reached there I already had level 3 fort. He just walked in here and some 3 very good divisions, 46,000. Well, he attacked with 3 divisions, panzer, motorized and infantry. But anyways, he just pushed them out. At least we get retreats and not routes. It wasn't that far from being less than 2.1, but I am disappointed that I didn't hold here. We lost 25 fighters as well to his 2, so this is not a good combat. Inflicted 18 tanks and 1,000 losses, but I don't care about that. I care about losing the hex with the level 3 fort this easily. The Germans are very strong in 1941, what can I say? The next thing that happened is that you just walk into Novgorod itself, which is a city, with a level 3 fort that I've been building, and lost 6,000 and a lot of airplanes, and he barely lost anything at all. And he attacked with Totenkopf, 1st Panzer Division, into town, and that's it. 2 divisions, that's it, and he just pushed me out. First attempt. Very disappointed, because this opens up for him now to use this light forested terrain here and push all the way up here to Chudova, and then threaten to cut off Leningrad. So I really thought with 2 level 3 forts in his way that it wasn't going to be a threat of having Leningrad isolated in 1941. But with these 2 attacks here going so well, that all changed. Then on the positive note, we have, you see, I have 4 battles here, so I had a lot of held results, and I guess I had one here. So, I mean, I did have a certain success, but not into 2 important hexes. So it's a little bit of a success on this front. So now what happens is that I have 1 level 3 fort, and I have another fort here, level 3. But in between that, 1, 2, 3 provinces, hexes, you know, it's just open for him to push. Because obviously I try to throw in strong, fresh divisions in the direction of northeast, which I think is the direction he'll attack. Of course, he could swing straight east and just cut off the railway going Moscow, Leningrad. So I'm very worried about this sector. And most of these divisions here have 0 combat preparation. They're banged up. They have high fatigue, and they're, you know, they have low defense values. The ones in the front are reasonably fresh. So it's not impossible for me to avoid being isolated in Leningrad, but the threat is still there. I have 2 new divisions under Northwestern Front Command, that's why they're yellow, coming in, and I also ordered 2 reasonably larger infantry divisions to deploy inside Leningrad to freshen up, and you know, so I have 4 divisions on the way, possibly more, to kind of exchange and rail out. I also rail out the 2 motorized divisions. Well, one was a brigade, but units from this area, because I figured they were just soaking up resources, supplies. And now when we're leaving the light forested, mech-friendly areas here. And you can see the Orange Army, the 22nd, actually had to devote not only 1 but 2 divisions to form another second line here. If he manages to take this clear, Lightwoods, level 3 fort, then it's this province, and then it's just open ground here. So I'm scared of a breakthrough here towards the east. Yeah. Anyways, otherwise than that, 22nd Army wasn't in any fights, and northwestern area is quiet except for these 2 battles here. I don't think there's a lot to say. 1 to 5 infantry losses, 21 airplanes to 8. That's actually, you know, 21 to 8. That's pretty good. Another 4,000 losses to 400. That's not very good. 13 planes to 3. So that hurts. I guess I got a reserve activation. Why do I have so many as 20,000? I guess it's the artillery. Only 1 division. So a bit of a give and take. I think I'm not gonna this time go back and reoccupy these provinces here. I'm just gonna stay inside the zone of control of enemy provinces and start building and have this line here. Then we go down to Smolensk. We had a couple of battles here. Actually, I held in 2 provinces and I lost 2 other hexes, and 1 of those I reoccupied. So I guess I'm happy with. Was it scout? Yeah, it was 2 scouting. But so I held 1 hex here. But any held result is a victory, and any victory is a step towards developing guards units. You need 10 wins, I think, and then you stand a chance. I guess it's after a certain turn, though. I have some now in the Leningrad area up there. Has like 5 wins already. I'm happy about that. And here's another held result. It's very good. Actually, the Panzer Corps at Bryansk was fairly quiet this turn, resting up, refueling another turn. And okay, let me say that the Smolensk sector looks decently strong in comparison to what he seems to be having here for attacks. I see a panzer division here. There was another panzer division last turn down here south of Smolensk. I wonder if it's the same that moved up here, or if he has actually 2 panzer divisions ready for exploitation if he gets a breakthrough. I would call this moderately reasonably strong, this sector here. Yeah, and then the sector of 38th Army is weaker, but he can't have panzers everywhere, right? And if he pushes with the infantry, even if he pushes me back, he's not going to reach very far. So Bryansk, I decided to abandon this turn. I can't afford to leave even a sacrificial garrison. I guess I had a retreat, 25. That is bad. It's a militia rifle division. And I didn't lose a lot, even though the odds. But look at this. Here's the terrible battle. Almost 5,000 losses. Really bad. And even worse, the next one. In March, I lose 12,000? What the hell is this? To 180? 36 routed? I don't know what happened here. I must have rolled terribly. Because this is rough terrain, or dense terrain. And he attacks with 2 panzer divisions. It's all motorized. I mean, they aren't supposed to be good in March, and yet it gets 36 and 12,000 losses. Okay, so this is the worst battle I've seen so far in the campaign. Together with the Novgorod push, yeah, now you understand why I have 95,000 infantry losses. But on the plus side, when I saw this Panzer Corps pop up east of Bryansk, I guess 2 or 3 turns ago when they reached here, I kind of panicked, or I responded very forcefully, depending on how you want to express it. And now you can see the result of this. I have actually, many of these divisions are in reasonably good shape. They have nice combat preparation and strength and morale, etc. So even though the terrain is kind of shit, it's a lot of open terrain or light forest. In the center here, we have a couple of marshes and heavy forest. And I'm anchoring myself on Orel here, and I have one very strong mech and some reasonably strong tank divisions in the back line. I feel very strong in this section, obviously. Whereas in south of Orel, under the 20th Army here, dark green being quite mediocre, 3.7 liter. Look at this. It's all cavalry here between Orel and Kursk. So if this German Panzer Division decides, Panzer Corps, sorry, or Panzer Group even, although I think it's just I can only see like 5-6 mech units here, so I think it's a corps. If he pushes straight east, obviously he's gonna get somewhere, but that's where I want him to go. I don't want him to go north towards Moscow. So I suppose I'm okay with that. And as for action points, I built 1-2 depots in this area. I guess I'm gonna lose. I lost the Bryansk depot, and I guess I'm gonna lose the Orel depot. And with this amount of troops, I feel I need new depots, obviously. Although the AP cost is kind of painful for me, because I really like to use it for other stuff than building depots. But I think this is a wise choice for getting a little bit of truck savings from these faraway depots here. I'm hoping to use Orel as long as possible. Maybe even hold Orel. Depends. Well, I'm probably not going to do that all the way to the winter. What am I talking about? Talk about rosy, positive sunglasses. Anyways, Kursk in trouble. Railing 1 infantry division. But other than that, I only have the 120th Rifle Division inside Kursk itself. So this is ripe for an encirclement, if that's what you want to do with these Panzer Corps down here. As you can see, it's divided up in regiments, so I can only see 4 mechanized divisions here. There could be more, but I think it's a corps and not a full group, like 4, 5, 6 mechanized. And so it's kind of a cauldron here. Only have like a second line of cavalry behind here. Not very strong. But then I fell back from Sumy here, and the Red Army, which is the 37th Army. Of course, since he's red, he has nice numbers, 4.7 average. So, and these are strong divisions. Some of them have been resting in Belgorod and has 100 CPP. You can see quite substantial combat values. So this is a strong army. If you go southeast, I'm about as ready to face him here as I can be, considering this is not the strongest Panzer Corps on the map. And a bit of cavalry here for zone of control up in front. And obviously this could be an encirclement, but it's a militia division, so I can sacrifice the 6,000. Now we have the 48th Army with a mech leader. Gray, black is because it's tanks. Pretty okay. I mean, nothing super strong, but you get values around 3, 4, 5 here on the secondary line. So I have a decent reserve. I expect to have these two armies fall back southeast, north of Kharkov. I don't think he's gonna head. He doesn't seem to be wanting to face my fortified positions headlong on. He prefers to encircle them, outflank them. So I think he's gonna go straight east here and try to approach Kharkov by encircling it in the north. And he probably will succeed. So maybe me building 2 forts here north of Kharkov was a bad investment. But if his infantry reaches here, now I have 4 forts on this riverbed. Let me show you without units on the map. As you can see, Kharkov itself is a strong position, and then I have 2 hexes here and 2 hexes here. I create like a fortified line, and then I have the river behind, so it's kind of nice. So even if I don't get to use these forts, it feels very nice to build them aesthetically, if nothing else. Yeah, right. And now defending the Orange Army is okay. It has okay decent troops, and my new 43rd Army, light green because very bad leadership, is building combat preparation along the river this turn as well. Oh yeah, no. Okay, we had a couple of combats here against security regiments, and he pushed me out of Poltava. I actually had, I got retreated, and he attacked me twice, so I wasted combat preparation here from his infantry. Not very important. But Dnepropetrovsk is surrounded. I have tried to supply it with airdrops, even though I had, but it's still red in the frame, so I guess he's still isolated. I don't know how important that is. I guess when he is retreated, he surrenders instead of running away, I guess. So let me know in the chat, or in the comments, if you know why I was not relieved of isolated status when I managed to drop 72, 44, and 36 tons of freight delivered. And I also have a, I wonder, how do you relieve and encircle? There's an airport as well, so that should, I think, I don't understand why he's not non-isolated now. But this means with all these combats, they were decent. I guess we have 1, 2, 3 with hold. Maybe it was just scouting. But I had a couple of held results here, and mostly retreats. I don't think, I had maybe 1 or 2 routes that rallied. So we have a couple of weak divisions that had to retreat, 3 of them actually. So now in the first line behind this minor river, we have tank and mechanized formations. I'm not super happy about that, but that's what I got. So we have a line after all, and we even have kind of a secondary line with weak units, even though I don't know how well it works in the current patch to defend with tank and mechanized versus, I guess, tanks and mechanized. Maybe some of his infantry can reach and hit here as well. Anyway, it doesn't look great, but it's not a total catastrophe. And behind that, we didn't build any forts, but I got 4 cavalry divisions coming out there, and hopefully I could build forts and have stronger positions ready for these armies when they fall back here. Maybe I'd actually build one fort here. I'll explain. I still have 8, 10 action points, and I intend to save them, and maybe next turn I can afford to upgrade a front headquarters to an assault headquarters. This reserve front here, put it set assault. That means I will I think double my combat preparation regain on every unit, but I build forts where I can only build up to level 1 forts, or my fortification efforts are halved or something. But mostly I'm not building a lot more than level 1 forts anyways, so I'd rather prepare my second and third line of folding back banged up reserve units faster, so put them back in the fight faster. But 20 action points, that's one entire week worth of action points. Yapping and blabbing, but that's the plan for the next turn. All right, and we pulled out from this area here and pulled down southeast with the army of 5th Army here. So we're still holding this town, Zaporizhzhia, and I don't know what is gonna rest after all these combats. Is he gonna push southeast? Is he gonna encircle this town as well? We'll see what he does. Melitopol, we have Rokossovsky's 9th Army. They actually moved up to this river line. Since I have a fairly strong flank in the north and have a fairly strong flank in the southwest here along the river, I decided to take position here and protect the railway line. I guess my hope is to find weak Romanian units here and attack them with my fairly strong mechanized forces here. And I'm keeping building more forts here. And I pulled another division out of Odessa. Now we only have, don't tell my opponent, he'll only see this a couple of weeks in the future. Don't tell him, but now we're down to 3 divisions and only 45. Remember, I was over 100,000. So actually, you know, I railed 1 division up here, great shape, 90 combat preparation and 13,000 men, 51 morale and good experience. So, and we have others coming from these port cities here. So in a way, the Southern Front has more troops than they need. I will have to take infantry from down here and try to get it up here and defend around Rostov and Stalino instead with them, or reinforcing this line here. So overall, some serious setbacks, lost combats, and a breakthrough on my 45 positions in Novgorod. My under siege isolated ports, Tallinn and Odessa, are in trouble. Right, we had a lot of, I had another MiG air group sent up here, and I lost basically all of them in some extremely heavy air combats here, because I lost 38 fighters in the first encounter versus 9 German fighters. How about this ratio? 9, that's like a 4-to-1 ratio. I don't think that's terrible long run, but this turn, losing 38 MiGs, 27 to 15, that's really good. That's really good, 2-to-1. I think I'm happy to take that even now or whenever. And then it gets worse, I think, 7-to-1, 14-to-2. So, but all in all, even though I lost a lot of fighters, I didn't do terrible, and I guess I got 22 comms. I guess I did some damage to his fighters. Okay, so maybe I didn't reach his bombers down here in the south because he still had miles to fly with his air fighters. Anyways, I'm wiped out. I can't keep this up. I don't have enough fighters for the rest of the front to keep up this. So all in all, if this continues, I guess I just have to abandon Odessa. He doesn't have to attack it. I do have like 20,000 supplies, freight 19,000 stored, whereas in Tallinn I had 0 and I couldn't ship anything in. So I think I have to abandon Tallinn, but maybe I can hang out, stay isolated for a couple of turns here before I pull out. I would be thrilled to know in the comments what your thoughts about sieges, and it feels a bit weird that air suppression is this efficient, but I guess it was the Germans' best way of naval interception in the Black Sea, because they only had a couple of old Romanian patrol ships and some German subs that came later. They really, but I mean, in the north, the German Kriegsmarine was so superior that why would you even have to need to use airplanes up here? There should be naval units taking care of this, submarines and mines, etc. Yeah, I don't know. Okay, thank you. I'm gonna go through a bit of stats. If you're not interested, maybe I'll see you next week. Thanks for watching, but here comes the fun part. On map, this turn we are losing. Our army gets smaller. And in combination with my manpower pool, which gets smaller, I have put all my divisions on the entire map except in a certain exceptions, like around Leningrad, on 50% max troop size. So there shouldn't be like any infantry reinforcements anywhere on the map except in certain specific. So I'm really hoping to build this up. Yeah. When it comes to guns, we are losing, but we're still ahead of the Germans. And I guess the tank situation is maybe the best stat, because we are increasing. When I actually start to see divisions, tank divisions now with like 2, even 3 dozens of T-34s, modern medium tanks, and he's losing tanks. Well, he gained here and now he lost. I don't know how important it is to kill off obsolete old German tanks at this stage of the war, but I know I am using old, obsolete, crappy Soviet tanks, so I might as well sacrifice them. I guess I want to fight his tanks if I can. But the most worrisome thing is, of course, the Air Force, since I'm bleeding heavily, like 500-600 planes per turn. Let's check out the total aircraft losses here. So you go 500, 440, 180, 630 to 220. So that's a 3-to-1 ratio. Some naval bombers at Tallinn, but do you think this is a good ratio at this stage of the war, or is it like, ooh, you're bleeding the Soviet Air Force way too much, you're gonna get too weak, you need to remain strong and like hide from the German Luftwaffe now? I don't know. This is what I'm doing. I still have a high total number of aircraft, 11,000, and this is rather static, right? So even though I have high losses, I maintain a total number. It's only my own map presence. Anything else? Turn 9, I'm aiming for saving Rostov and Leningrad at turn 17, when the mud, around that time when the mud should hit. It's getting pretty close. The panzers are here, and if he pushes 1.5 to 2 hexes per turn, which is very doable in open terrain here, he's gonna reach Rostov before the arrival of the mud. And when it comes to Novgorod to the Lake Ladoga beach, to cut me off, we're talking 1 province per turn. And right here, with the banged up divisions and the open terrain, that is very doable. So maybe we're looking at a siege, and then we know what's going to happen with the Air Force and the isolation here. I built, was it this turn? Yeah, it's probably this turn. I built another depot in here, so I'm gathering a lot of resources, freight, supplies for a siege inside Leningrad. But I'm not worried anymore about reinforcing or fortifying the, what do you call it, southwestern approaches now. When the infantry arrives, everything's going to be decided with these tanks here. Yeah, I forgot to say, I felt that somewhere on the map there was a missing mechanized corps. I could only find like around 25, and I think there should be around 30, 32 or so mechanized formations, depending, of course, if you take something home from Africa or France or send something away, yada yada, I don't know. But this turn I found here 3, that's not it, sorry, this one. I found 3 motorized divisions. So I think I see now here we have around 10, at least 10 mechanized divisions. That's why the threat. If it was only a panzer corps, I could have arranged it, but this is a full panzer group now arranged here, and he's through the rough terrain. He's now into not the wide open, but yeah. I look surprisingly strong at Bryansk Orel. Maybe that's where I want to do my winter offensive. A bit early to start planning that, but that's something you need to keep in the back of your mind, saving up resources and preparing depots and what units to use in what terrain and what direction. It influences a little bit what's going to happen in the winter, what's happening now on the map. Well, as much as I can influence, but I can plan for it. I can have like a backup plan in my mind. Did we do something else this turn? No, not really. Okay, so I guess I'll see you next week. I'm excited. I'm having fun playing this campaign. I hope you enjoy watching it, and also follow along this after action report on the Matrix Games forums as well under War and These too. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.